In this video, we will consider different risk attitudes, specifically risk aversion, risk neutrality, and risk seeking. This graph should be familiar from the last video. Let's give this graph a backstory now. You have a job that pays $20,000 and you have the chance to take a new job in sales. If all goes well, you could make an extra $10,000. But if things do not go well, you could lose $10,000 a year. There's a 50% chance of each of the two outcomes. People differ in their preferences toward risk. The person depicted in this graph has a marginal utility that diminishes as income increases. The utility of the new job is uncertain. We can calculate the expected utility of the new job, however. Outcome A with an income of $10,000 yields utility of 10 with a probability of 50%. Outcome E with an income of $30,000 yields utility of 18 with a probability of 50%. The average of these two outcomes is 0.5 times the utility of $10,000 and 0.5 times the utility of $30,000, which is equal to 0.5 times 10 plus 0.5 times 18 for a total expected utility of 14. This is shown by point F. You simply read across from point F to see the expected utility of the new job is 14. This person is risk averse because she would prefer a certain income of $20,000 with a utility of 16, shown at point D, to a gamble with a 0.5 probability of $10,000 and a 0.5 probability of $30,000 and an expected utility of 14. Thus, a certain income of $20,000 provides a higher utility than a risky income with an expected value of $20,000. The person depicted in this graph has a marginal utility that increases as income increases. Each dollar of income brings more utility than the one before it. The same three income positions are shown. Once again, the expected income of the uncertain job opportunity is $20,000. Its utility is now 10.5. Compared to the utility of $20,000 for a certain utility of 8, the gamble is now preferred. This person is risk-seeking, sometimes called risk-loving. She prefers the gamble to the certain income. The person depicted here has a constant marginal utility of income. Each dollar provides exactly the same utility as every other dollar. The expected income of the uncertain job opportunity is $20,000, as in each of the two previous cases. Its utility is now 12. This is exactly the same as the utility of $20,000 for certain. The two situations are identical in terms of utility. This person is risk neutral and indifferent between certain and uncertain events with the same expected income. So let's review. Here, the consumer on the left is risk-loving. She would prefer the same gamble with an expected utility of 10.5 to the certain income with a utility of 8. The consumer on the right is risk neutral and indifferent between certain and uncertain events with the same expected income. The risk-averse attitude of this consumer gives rise to a risk premium. The risk premium, CF, measures the amount of income that an individual would give up to leave her indifferent between a risky choice and a certain one. Here, the risk premium is $4,000 because a certain income of 16,000, shown at point C, gives her the same expected utility, 14, as the uncertain income, a 0.5 probability of being at point A and a 0.5 probability of being at point E, that has an expected value of $20,000. Here's why these concepts are important. An entity's risk philosophy, risk appetite, and its risk tolerance reflect its risk attitudes. Now, one can develop a philosophy, an appetite, or a tolerance without knowing or using these terms, but these attitudes are going to show up in those statements nonetheless. They describe the only three attitudes one can have about risk. Some entities will be risk averse, some risk neutral, some risk seeking. Others may be a unique blend of all three. Whatever an enterprise is, it's better served by conscious choice. When risk managers consciously choose to be risk averse in some areas, risk neutral in another, and risk seeking in yet a third.